So when you're finding zeros, you need to do that by hand. And I know calculators can find it for you. We'll look into that, but you need to be able to do this by hand. So one of the things that a calculator is nice for is helping you figure out exactly what does work, what doesn't work. So if we look at this polynomial that I have here, remember if we use the rational zeros test, and I go through that, and so our possible zeros would be 1, 2, 3, and 6, and we've done this one before, and on the bottom will be just 1. So I have a bunch of possibilities. I have a positive 1, a negative 1, positive 2, negative 2, positive 3, negative 3, positive 6, negative 6. Now, that's a bunch of possibilities, but there actually sometimes, especially when you have a number in front, you have even more possibilities. So it all just kind of depends on the polynomial, but this is a lot of possibilities, and I don't necessarily want to sit here and try them all. So one nice thing that you can do is you can use a graphing calculator to help you identify what could possibly work and what for sure doesn't work. So remember the 1, 2, 3, and 6, and the calculator I like to use on this iPad is called My Free Graphing Calculator, and it should be in the iTunes U, but I think it goes something like this. It looks something like this as far as if you're trying to find it, and it allows us to do a lot of stuff. So what I've done is I've entered it into the equations. So if you look here at the bottom of your screen, you'll see an equations part. And so you hit that, and then you'll see that you have all kinds of different possibilities because you could graph multiple things at one time. There's even more if you go farther down. And so here, what I've done is I clicked on it, and it'll bring you to another screen where you have to enter in your polynomial. So this is my polynomial. I entered it, and I had to hit save. The save button was down here, and now it's in there. And so when I graph it, it's going to show up as a red polynomial. Now, then what you do is you just click on the graph part, and it'll actually graph it for you. And here's the graph. You'll notice it has it written up here for me. And if you look at my graph here, you'll see it only crosses the axis twice. Now, you can zoom out, and I didn't on here, but you can zoom out and you can look to see if there's anything out here. But remember, our numbers were 1, 2, 3, and 6. So here's 6 and here's negative 6. Remember, you have to do all the negatives of that. And so I really don't expect anything to be out here unless it's irrational. But typically it's not going to be. And so I'm focusing in on these two spots right here. Now this spot right here looks like it's the number 2, and that spot right there looks like it's number -1. So those are the numbers I would try first. And sometimes your list down here is huge and you have fractions and all kinds of stuff. And so by doing this graphing thing, you can see better what are things you should try and what are things you should stay away from. I know I want to stay away from 3 because there's nothing at 3 or -3. So why would I even try it? I want to try the ones that look like. Now, notice I said what it looks like. You don't want to assume it's going to be 2 and -1. You always want to check because those could be irrational, and it could be some square root business that gets you to look like something at 2. So you want to always check with synthetic division to make sure that's one of your zeros.